On Friday, folks, the Genius Act was signed. One of the little entities inside that is about stablecoins. And there is a very, very big deal with stablecoins that most people are missing. I believe, and we're going to talk about this, that stablecoins will lead to a drop and potentially a large drop in interest rates. Dan, I know you've been poking around this a bit. What are you seeing out there? Do you agree that stable coins might drop or will drop interest
I
rates?
do agree. It's a very interesting topic and one that I think we should dive into more. And I'm just beginning to learn about it myself, actually. So I did a Zoom call for my subscribers on Saturday, yesterday. We went for 3.5 hours, just an open forum, asking questions. And at the very end, I talked about stablecoin, and I showed them the research. I actually showed them how I look these things up, which I'll do here as well, which actually brings up another topic too, which we'll get to later, which is what does it mean to Google that everyone's using AI instead of Google search?
Yeah, that is definitely a different conversation. But let's break down stablecoins because I actually brought up for the first time, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, that one of the oddities is that if stablecoins pass, which now it has in the Genius Act, they're going to become just monster buyers of treasury. And they are just going to be like this huge vacuum cleaner of treasuries. But
Correct.
that by having this never ending demand for treasuries means rates can go down. That's
Yeah, and just to clarify that and to separate it from what the Fed does,
Mhm.
when we're talking about treasuries, potentially it means all treasuries,
Oh, yeah, correct.
right? Not just the short end, like what the Fed does. The Fed just does the discount window.
Yeah,
So
the
very,
overnight rate. Yep.
very short term interest rates. They can't control the long term. And that was apparent when they started cutting and rate the 10-year went up when they started
Correct.
cutting. The Fed can't control that. So, you know, with all of Trump's bluster about getting rid of Powell because he's not lowering the interest rates is not going to necessarily do anything. In fact, it might even be worse.
Yeah, it's funny. I read an article this weekend talking about President Trump's call for the Fed rate to be lowered 300 basis points from four and a
Mm-hmm.
quarter to one and a quarter.
Right.
And several economists, I want to say five or six of them were interviewed. First off, all of them said that's ridiculous. That would never happen. But then they went on to say, one of the unintended consequences are going to be the long end goes up. So
Yeah.
sure, maybe it helps the federal government recycle or refi their debt on the short end, but you just hurt the entire economy. Businesses, real estate, everything else gets smashed.
And the stock market. The stock market
Yeah,
wouldn't like that either. I mean,
amen.
they would see it as panic, and it'd be a huge sell off if they
Yeah,
drop
I
them
agree.
that much. I mean, dropping a little bit, I think the market's expecting, but the more important thing is it's not going to do anything for long term rates. It's not going to do anything for 10-year. We don't, and Trump has said before, back when interest rates were zero, they should have refinanced the debt for 100 years.
He was right.
Well, who would buy that? Who would buy the debt?
I don't know.
Who
I'm
would
sure
buy
there
it?
would have been buyers.
Who would buy it at 0% for 100 years? Who's going to buy that?
I don't know.
Right?
It's too late to find out. But it
Would
would
you
have
buy
somebody
that?
bought it. I wouldn't buy it, but again, I don't buy it
Somebody
for
might, but
5%.
but besides the point, stable coins it is perhaps the solution
I agree.
because and we'll get into it. I'll bring it up here in a minute. Actually, let me just do it now, and we'll actually do the research right now.
Yeah, we'll
How
do the
about that?
research in real time. I like it.
Research in real time. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Um, can you see my screen?
I can.
So that's my website, breakpointtrading.net. My YouTube channel is right here. You can tune in every day. I do a midday update on the market. We'll look at the upcoming earnings because there's some interesting earnings coming up in the next week or two.
Mhm.
But let's do the stablecoin thing first. So I'm going to use Copilot, which is basically OpenAI from Microsoft.
Okay.
That's what Copilot is. All right. First, let's say what are stablecoins? Let's understand what they are first. Type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain stable value by pegging their price to a more predictable asset, usually fiat currency like the US dollar.
Hmm.
So it's pegged to the US dollar. Unlike Bitcoin, which is not pegged to anything, and that's one of the things that Bitcoin says is a good thing for Bitcoin because it's not pegged to fiat currencies. That is not fiat. It's also, by the way, not a currency.
Mm-hmm.
So Bitcoin this is very different from Bitcoin. Each coin is backed 1-to-1 by reserves, like let me turn this on, like the U.S. dollar. And typically, that's what's going to happen. So Tether is the largest one. It's the largest stablecoin, Tether. All right, that's USDT. The second largest is USDC. And do you know who produces that one?
I do not.
It's a company called Circle.
They just went public.
Yes, it is. It is the only publicly traded stablecoin.
Hmm.
Circle just went public right here. You can see what's happened since then. Um, this is a daily chart. So this is June 5th. Is when it went public. The initial price was $31. It actually opened at 69 that
Oh,
day.
back to the .com days.
Exactly. And then it went up to a high of 200 and almost $300.
Wow.
So basically 30 bucks. It opened at 69, went up to 300.
Hmm.
And then it's come back down and it has sort of a rounded bottom right there. And now it's starting to go back up again. We'll see what happens on Monday because that Genius Act was just signed
Yep.
on Friday. By the way, did you have a long night last night? You're yawning. Or am I boring you already?
No, no, no. I'm sorry.
All right, so that's the important thing to understand. Number one, what is a stable coin? It's backed by the dollar. So if that's the case, that means whenever a stable coin is bought, then people are um, buying a dollar. Basically, it's got to be backed by a dollar. So why they matter? To enable fast, low-cost transactions. Stablecoins is built on blockchain, just like Bitcoin is built on blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask another question here in a second. Here's the Genius Act, which was just signed, by the way, on Friday. We'll talk about that in a minute. So it's a safe haven for market volatility, bridge between crypto and traditional finance. So this is basically the future of finance.
Yeah, one of the big targets for this, and I think Jamie Dimon talked about this, is the payment rails. Right, you're going to see a lot more efficiencies and speed in the payment rails. So maybe that's Visa and Mastercard and all of those folks will see big
Yes,
competition.
absolutely. Yeah, and by the way, when all those financial organizations start buying stable coins, they're called stable coins for a reason. It's backed by the faith and credit of the U.S. government, right? It's got a
Yep.
dollar is what it's backed by. Every time they buy a stable coin, they're buying into our debt, basically. They're not buying our debt. Let me rephrase that. If you buy a bond, you're buying our debt. All right. So if you buy a bond, you're buying a particular time frame at a particular interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be paid that interest rate at the end of that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you buy a bond at 3% for 10 years, then in 10 years you will have 3%, 3% a year. All right. But you're buying the debt. You're buying the debt. Stablecoin is not that. You're not buying debt with stablecoin. What you're doing is you are buying dollars. You're buying our currency, right? So by buying the currency, and that lowers the interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
So interest rates will come down in much the same way the Fed does with the discount window on the short-term rates, but stable coins could be across all of the rate structures. So
Exactly. And
I
likely
think there
will
will
be.
likely be a popular one, probably the 10-year. But all of these companies that offer stable coins will be buying basically our
Yeah,
currency.
exactly. So when I go back to and I think of is I remember back when back when the Fed basically lowered rates and became the largest buyer of treasuries and more. Oh, by the way, for real estate, mortgage-backed securities, right?
Yeah, right,
That's why we got mortgage rates with a two handle. That's why we got mortgage rates with a three handle, because
right,
there was a known buyer with an nearly unlimited ability to buy. And
right.
that's exactly what I think stable coins are going to be.
Yeah,
Stable coins,
except on steroids.
yeah,
So so
multiplied. Yes.
what you're describing is the Fed buying, mortgage-backed securities and um, treasuries and that type of thing. But this is everybody across the whole world.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned Visa and MasterCard and PayPal. PayPal actually has a stable coin as well. You mentioned all those. Anytime any of those organizations or anybody around the world or any government around the world buys a stable coin, they're essentially lowering that interest rate on those securities.
It's a
All
supply
right.
demand
So
equation. Yeah, the demand for our treasuries across the spectrum from, from short term to even 30-year is about to go up exponentially.
correct. That's right. And this is one of the reasons why Besant is a big proponent of this, especially
Of
getting that
course.
bill through Congress. We'll talk about the bill in a second. This is Circle. It's called Circle Internet Group, company behind popular stablecoin USDC. It's the second most popular stablecoin. Tether is not public yet, but watch out when they go public, which I suspect won't be very much longer. Went public in June. Shares open at 69. So we talked about that. IPO price was 31. It issues a dollar-backed stablecoin used for payments, trading, and decentralized finance. It's building an infrastructure based on blockchain, just like Bitcoin is, and it offers a regulated crypto services. All right, so this is this isn't the only stablecoin, but it's the first one that has gone public. So you can actually buy into stable coins by buying stock if you want to. We'll see what this does on Monday now that that bill was just signed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, performance is up 600% year to year. Genius Act, we'll look at that right now. Signed into law July 2025, just on Friday, actually. Circle has applied for a national trust bank charter, which is interesting. So they not only will be buying stablecoin, they actually will be a bank buying stablecoin. All right. So let's look at the Genius Act, see just what exactly is that. Guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins. It's a landmark U.S. law signed by Trump on July 18th. That was Friday. Mm-hmm. All right. Provides stablecoin regulation. I've been saying for years that sooner or later, when people talk about Bitcoin, I've been saying sooner or later that the government is going to get involved with crypto and they're going to start regulating it. And I'm not sure what that's going to do to Bitcoin. And it may not do anything to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not a currency. Mm-hmm. So it really doesn't fall under this regulatory act right here. But first of all, stablecoin issuers must be licensed, 100% reserve requirement, must back every stablecoin with liquid assets like the US dollar or short-term treasuries.
This is exactly why treasury demand is going to go higher, because of the one-to-one backing.
Right, correct. Monthly public disclosures, so there's transparency, clear policies. These are all the things that are in the act. Mm-hmm. Prohibition on misleading claims, etc. So it basically legitimizes crypto. And crypto has a number of different buckets that the term crypto falls into. Stablecoin is one of those buckets. Bitcoin is a different bucket. Mm-hmm. I'm going to look at something else here that I think is interesting that I haven't actually looked at yet. Trump called it the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet. And that could be true, actually.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah. Boost demand for U.S. treasuries. And that is really the key. It's going to boost demands around the world for U.S. treasuries, reinforcing the dollar's global reserve status, crypto capital of the world, be in the U.S. Critics like the idiot Elizabeth Warren, not that I'm opinionated, but raise concerns about conflicts of interest. Elizabeth Warren has no clue what she's talking about, ever. So anytime she opens her mouth, I just think the
Oh,
opposite, whatever she
yeah,
says.
yeah,
Sorry to go off on a tangent there, but
yeah. It happens.
um, bill passed support. It was just signed on Friday. So I want to ask another question here. How is Ethereum related to stablecoins?
Oh, it's essentially the rails that most stablecoins use.
Right. Ethereum stablecoins are deeply entwined. Ethereum is actually the primary blockchain where most stablecoins live and
Yes,
operate.
correct.
So Ethereum actually, which has had basically for quite a while been running behind Bitcoin.
Yeah, the last week it popped.
The last week it is just going crazy. It's going straight up.
Yeah, like
So
45%
Ethereum
or something.
basically is the underlying picks and shovels, if you will,
Yep, it's the picks and shovels. Yeah.
for stablecoin. So
Hmm.
it is the blockchain that stablecoin is built on. So stablecoins like USDC, that's Circle right there. This is Tether. This one I'm not sure what company puts those out, but
Yep.
um,
But
decentralized finance is
Ethereum is
DeFi.
about to Ethereum usage is about to go parabolic.
Yes, that's right. So stablecoin on Ethereum are used for cross-border payments, payroll, merchant transactions, and now they have validity with that bill being passed.
Yep, for institutions. This is a game
So
changer. This
Ethereum now suddenly becomes a really important key component to this whole global, or at least U.S., but really it is global
Yeah,
financial strategy.
Essentially Ethereum to me is what credit card companies would call the payment rails today.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
that that's a
Yeah,
that's a
yeah, I think
definition
that's
for
a
it.
pretty good analogy. Although blockchain, I would submit actually is more important than the payment rail for the
Hmm.
financial system today.
Oh, I would agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
So blockchain is what it's built on, and blockchain is really the key to all of this.
Hmm. Very cool.
So stablecoin, keep an eye on that. Watch out for stablecoin. If I go over here and let's go back to my dashboard, and up here I'll click on crypto, and here's Ethereum. Now this is Bitcoin. There's the Bitcoin chart right here. Here's the Ethereum chart.
Jeez.
You see a difference?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I actually talked about on the daily financial news this morning. Ethereum on Thursday and Friday, Ethereum ETF for the first time had more flows than Bitcoin Thursday and
Yeah,
Friday last
and
week.
this is why, because
Exactly.
that bill, that act was signed on Friday.
Yeah, and this is updated in real time, right? It's currently up almost 200
Yeah,
bucks.
yeah, this is in real time. Yes. So 37.85. It's up 5%,
It was
where
just at
Bitcoin was up
3,000
half.
like 3 weeks, like 7 days ago or something.
Yeah, it was 3,000. Yeah, way down here.
Yeah, look at
Actually, we
that.
can
Yeah,
click on that.
damn, 200 bucks today. Hmm.
So there's the daily chart. So started down here at 1,500 just in April,
Yeah. Well, good news. I have
and
some.
it's
I
at
have some
almost
Ethereum.
4,000 now.
Yep.
So it moved up, did a Darvas box, and then
Hmm.
broke out of the box, moving up again. And based on what happened Friday, probably is going to continue to go higher.
Yeah, gonna be interesting. Do you have any? Did
You
you ever buy Bitcoin
I
or
did
Ethereum?
not. I did not buy anything. I did not know much about stablecoin until this weekend.
Oh, there we go. All right.
When I did.
So what's got you more excited? Circle, a stock, or the asset Ethereum? What says Dan more excited?
I would say Ethereum probably more.
Hmm.
I think Ethereum, basically, like I said, is the underlying
It's the
technology
picks and
for
shovels.
all of the stable coins.
Yeah.
Circle just happens to be the only one that's public, but Circle is not the biggest one. Tether is the biggest one.
Yeah, and as we learned in the dot-com crash, it's sometimes not the first to market that wins. It's got to
Right.
be the next innovation or the next or the next. But Ethereum is the picks and shovels. It's the rails. And simply said, yeah. So that's why I actually own some Ethereum. I think 14 coins. I think something like that.
Right. Yeah. And this is going to accelerate the whole market, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just like AI has been really the driver of the market going
Here's
higher.
a question for you. When do you think we get? Because I know it's really funny, right? J.P. Morgan, I think one time called Bitcoin rat poison. I think he called it.
Yeah.
Um, And now we have JP Morgan Chase coming out with its own stable coin. Goldman will do this. I mean, all these other institutions are going to come out with stable coins. And again, every time they do that, they then become a buyer for treasuries.
Correct.
That's the wrinkle in all of this. And that's why rates are going to go down.
Yes, absolutely. Rates will absolutely go down. It will be interesting to see how that race plays out because yes, now that there is a structure around it, there is a legal structure. Congress has just passed laws
Yep.
that put the regulations around stablecoin. Um, JP Morgan and Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they could all create their own stablecoin if they want to. That's fine. They all lead back to treasuries.
Yeah.
And they all lead back to Ethereum. So all of these, at some point, I think those stable coins are going to merge and there will be a stable coin at some point, most likely.
A clear winner. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A clear winner, but we don't know who that's going to be yet. So I think everyone is positioning. It could end up being Tether.
That could be years from now.
That could be years. Yeah. This could go on for years. This could accelerate the whole market for years to come.
Yeah.
Actually.
Interesting. Very cool.
Let's look at, just out of curiosity, XLF. Let's look at the financial sector. Let's see what that chart looks like. So here's financials ever since the bottom here in April. They've just been going higher.
Yeah, they had some pretty good banker. Again, the big seven, right? Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citi, Goldman, JP Morgan all had decent earnings last week.
Yeah, the Magnificent
What really shocked me is they all talked about loan growth. They all had loan growth. And I'm like, wow, they're growing loans at this time. That's just more money in the system. So
sure. Yeah. The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
The new Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, look at that. All right. What did you think about inflation last week? We can talk about some, and then we'll talk about
it was pretty much exactly what I said.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
2.7.
Yeah, but PPI really surprised me. That one really surprised me. It was 0.
Yeah, I know, but one thing I don't understand, and I got to figure this out, look into this a little bit more. I've got a PPI chart, and I thought it would look different when I click on this because it was 0, it was lower.
Yeah.
Than anticipated, right?
It was significantly.
But this actually shows it higher. I'm not sure why that is. Higher than May.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah.
But if you here's PPI, CPI. If you look at these, let's go back a couple of years and just look at the trends on them. PPI is going up and CPI is going down.
Yeah. Have you given up hope on a July rate cut?
No, I didn't think there would be a July rate cut anyway. Yeah. So I doubt there will be one. What's interesting though is I mentioned that I'm putting that in my newsletter every week now.
What are they talking about September? Yeah.
And it actually went, here it is right here. It actually went even lower than last week.
Oh, interesting.
So no cut in July. September is now only 55%.
It was 60 something last week, if I remember.
Right. And October, I think was like 80, 85. Now it's up to 95.
Yeah.
So according to this is saying that there might be one in October, and that might be it for the whole year.
Well, it's saying one in December too.
Well, there could be one in December, but actually the next cut actually has a bigger chance in January.
True.
But they're pretty close. So it could be either one.
They're basically saying best case 2 cuts for 25.
Right. So, I mean, it's even looking like the September cut is off the table.
Yeah, it's sort of trending that way, right? Yeah.
So it's interesting. So what is the market going to do with that information? Here's what Stock Traders Almanac says. This is going back to 1990. So here's July. We've got a couple more weeks left in July.
Yep.
And we're going right into earnings season. In fact, so
you're saying August and September are not good, Dan? Is that what you're saying?
Well, NASDAQ's okay in August. It's up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oops. Look at that in a second. Yeah, August and September. I mean, I've always said they're the worst months. September is the worst month of the whole year.
Mm.
But all of these things that are going on right now, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with big tech earnings,
Mm-hmm.
because as I mentioned when we started this conversation off, and I was thinking about this when I was doing the research on stablecoins. I mean, I used to just type it into my Google search box,
Yeah.
and then I would look at all the results that it gave me, and I try to pick the one that I thought was the best one. And
Yeah. Search
now,
is changing. Yeah. Search is
in
changing.
in this case, I use Copilot with Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
but you could use you know Grok from
Yeah.
X,
Flawed. Just so many to
or
choose
you,
from.
you could use the Google one too. But I mean, they're none of them are bringing up ads,
Mm-hmm.
so they do have the references for where the information is coming from, which is good. And I probably should just the skeptic in me probably should go actually look at the references to see if they're
Yeah.
reasonable.
Because sometimes AI hallucinates.
Right. But probably not many people do that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just accept it.
Yeah.
So what's that going to mean for Google? Before I do that, let me go to this next slide. This is the comparison with 2018. We looked at this a while ago.
Uh-huh.
So this is 2018 over here. This is 2025. We had trade wars in both instances. They both went down about 20% roughly. They both had V bottoms, came roaring right back after going down. And right now we're right where these arrows are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just counting the number of months from the bottom of this. It's basically 1, 2, 3, about 4 months. So this one here is 1, 2, 3. Probably this one might be a little bit more to the left. Right now we've got, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, call it 3.5 months where we are right now. So that would be 1, 2. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe a little bit to the
It's close
left.
enough. Yeah.
Might be right about there.
Yeah.
So that's the same place. So right here, it looks like there's another week or so where it's kind of flat sideways and then it drops off.
Mm.
And so that might mean we've got another week or so.
Yeah. Would put us
We've
right into August.
go right into August and September. Exactly.
Okay.
So let's look at the earnings coming up
Yeah. I'm wondering which
the
ones you pay.
next couple of weeks. On my website, on the homepage, there's an earnings button right here. And we can look at upcoming earnings, and we'll look at it for NASDAQ 100. And we see Google is next Wednesday after the close.
Yeah. Same with
Tesla
Tesla. Yeah.
also Wednesday after the close. So I'm really interested to see what Google's earnings come out at based on our conversation just now about
Mm-hmm.
search. And more and more people, I mean, I can't tell you the number of people I talk to about this, and they all agree. I'm like, I don't hardly ever use Google search anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, me neither. I never use it either. I just go
Yeah. We
straight to
also
my favorite AI.
Yeah, we also have some interesting consumer names that I'm looking at. Chipotle on Wednesday as well. American Airlines, Auto Nation. Right, we're DR Horton on Tuesday. That's going to be a big one for my channel, housing. So there's a
Right.
lot of key earnings rolling in.
Yeah, we got Intel from a technology perspective. Intel is on Thursday. We've got into the next week, ARM Holdings, Lam Research, Meta, and Microsoft on the same day after the close on the 30th.
Yep, next week.
And then we've got Apple and Amazon on the same day after the close on the 31st.
Nice.
MicroStrategy. This is really interesting. We'll look at this in a second too. I wonder if this has something to do with that Genius Act that just went through. But anyway, that's the 31st. And then Palantir down here. Palantir is the number one stock in the whole stock market right now.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I've talked to
Number
Tom
one
Nash,
stock.
who's a big Palantir fan, on the channel once before, and yeah,
Right.
he called that back at like $6. So good for him.
So that's August the 4th. So let's look at the real estate sector. So these are the ones coming up in real estate. I'm not sure. I don't think the home builders are not in the real estate sector. They're in the discretionary sector. So there's DR Horton,
Yeah, Domino's
22nd,
Pizza will be interesting for me. Lots of
Tuesday before the open.
Colte's on there too.
Pulte right there, Hilton, NVR.
It's going to be an interesting week. We've got 2 or 3 weeks ahead that's really going to tell us what's going on with the
Yeah, the
economy.
next 2 weeks for earnings, here's Chipotle. Next 2 weeks for earnings are going to be really important. And it's going to really, I think, set the stage for how we move forward.
I agree.
When we get through the August and September timeframe, there are so many things lining up for a huge run at the end of the year. Huge run. If AI comes in, great. That will be good. Somebody mentioned on my Zoom call yesterday. They're probably watching your channel too because we have a lot of subscribers in common.
Sure.
He said they bought into Tesla because with the new Big Beautiful Act bill
Mm-hmm.
going into place, it's doing away with the rebates,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So everybody that wants the rebate is going to go out and buy Teslas right now.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
So
The
Tesla
rebate
might actually have really their. I don't think their earnings next week are going to be that great, and I'll show you why. But I think the next quarter,
yeah, they can
their
see a
earnings
spike.
might be really good.
Yeah. Demand pull
So
forward.
if we look at Tesla, and one thing I like to look at when they're going into earnings is the relative strength, which is this right here. So the blue one is how they do versus their peers. Now the time frame we're looking at right now is 7 months. So over 7 months, they are underperforming their peers. So here's the zero where the horizontal line is.
Yep.
So Tesla is underperforming and is trending lower.
Hmm.
The red one is how is it doing versus the S&P. It's underperforming the S&P and it's trending lower. All right, so those two right there for me are really important as it goes into earnings. What this is telling me is Tesla may not really beat their earnings. They may have a miss next week when they report. Now the following quarter they may make it all up
Right.
because they might get more sales because of that bill.
Mm-hmm.
But this is telling me that I'd be a little bit careful going into earnings with Tesla next week.
Yeah.
The other one that really surprised me because if we go back to my dashboard. Where was my dashboard? And you can see here's the Nasdaq 100 right here. Actually, crypto, Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin, and Bitcoin in general has been going higher,
Mm-hmm.
right? It just went kind of sideways last week. Let me do this way. This is actually be a good way to do it. Let's look at them side by side. Let's look at Bitcoin and MicroStrategy.
Hmm.
So what happened right here with MicroStrategy?
I don't know.
Bitcoin usually it follows Bitcoin, and it had been following Bitcoin, but all of a sudden, MicroStrategies just sort of fell off a cliff. That didn't happen with Bitcoin.
Hmm.
So what was different? What happened on Friday?
No
The
idea.
Genius Act. The Genius Act happened on Friday.
Okay.
I'm wondering because of how Michael Saylor has been financing his Bitcoin purchases.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this is foreshadowing something to
Hmm.
come based
Maybe.
on stablecoins now getting all the action.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the
No.
case, but this
No
this
idea.
I just thought this was very odd.
Yeah.
This
Broke
is
trend.
rare that it diverges from Bitcoin like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the follow through on Monday because again, Bitcoin traded all weekend, and obviously MicroStrategy's
Right.
hasn't.
That's right. That's true. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens Monday. You can see actually the dates, July 20th up here. Bitcoin hasn't really done much even over the weekend.
Right.
July 20th is the date over here, and July 18th for MicroStrategy over here.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is interesting. So we've got earnings, we've got lots of things happening in the next week or so. And we're
Yeah.
heading into a weak period of the year.
So what is Mr. Dan Bird doing as we get to the end of July? Are we tightening up our stops? Are you just selling covered
Yeah,
calls and getting income? What are we doing?
tightening my stops and taking profits,
Okay.
which I've already done. You remember my United Healthcare trade?
I do. Are you out of that now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you got
So,
stopped out.
yep, I got stopped out. So you might remember that I said I'm not going to lose money on this.
Hmm.
It's a interesting experiment to see how, something like this, if I can continue to sell covered calls and make money each week, which I did
Right.
every week. So my initial entry was 292,
Hmm.
and by selling covered calls every week, I was making roughly about $2, $1.50 to $2 every week. So I got my basis was down to 282.60
Mm.
to be exact, and I was stopped out on Friday at 282.60.
Oh, there you go.
So I broke even. I didn't make any money, but it was a fun exercise. It's
Yeah.
an interesting exercise as we went along. But the chart right now does not look very good.
No, that's not a healthy chart. That's a chart
No,
that's bleeding.
that's starting to look like a falling knife right there.
Yeah.
Just continually every day, just going down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm out of that.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. Well, we
So
got we got a lot of stuff next week. I appreciate you doing the research on stable coins. I do think I think most people are going to be shocked that treasury rates will actually fall. Now if we put a timeline on this, it's not going to be Monday. I don't want anybody to think
right,
it's
it
going to
won't
be
be right
Monday.
away.
No, there's
It won't be right away, but because of the Genius Act getting passed and signed last week, that basically is signaling everyone that it's safe to jump in the water,
right. So it's
right?
coming. Yeah.
Right.
And probably quicker than people expect.
They've got the shark. They got a bigger boat and they
Yep.
killed the shark,
Hmm.
so everyone can go in the water now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so everyone's going to start either creating their own stable coins or they're going to use Circle or Tether as stable coins around the world. So now the flag is just flown. Everyone can take off, and
Yep.
we'll see what happens. But any stable, like we said, any stable coin that's bought, anyone that's created, if somebody wants to create a new one,
Hmm.
that's fine. Just depends on what kind of demand you'll have out there. It doesn't matter. It all leads back to Ethereum, and it all leads back to treasuries
Yeah, exactly.
and the US dollar, which
This is going to be
by
fun to watch, folks. We're watching technology change in real time.
yeah, and technology is going to be a really key component moving forward with the financial industry. And the dollar, watch the dollar too. The dollar has been gaining
Yeah,
strength
perked up a
lately.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, the dollar's been coming back. So most people don't really want the dollar to come back. They would prefer that it stay weak,
Hmm.
especially U.S. multinational firms. But the stablecoin might actually make the dollar stronger too.
It could. Yeah.
So there'll be more people buying dollars, which will then improve the strength of the dollar, which actually, now that I think of it, could be a reason. We looked at this last week. Could be a reason why these currency pairs that we looked at are
Mm,
starting to fall and the dollar is starting to rise.
could be. Yeah.
Right. So what happens now that we've passed that bill? Stablecoin for us means US dollar. That's what our bill means.
Yep.
But what if these other countries also pass legislation for a stable coin for their currency,
And they definitely will. But
which they will, right?
oh yeah,
So then do we stop? Do we use the currency then as a proxy, or do we use stablecoin as a proxy,
good question.
or do we use Ethereum? Ethereum is going to be across all of them,
Hmm.
regardless of what country you're in,
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
right? So that's why I said Ethereum, it probably is more interesting than Circle or any individual stock offering.
There you go. Well, folks, we'll check in each and every week with Mr. Dan Bird. He has a YouTube channel where he talks stocks 5 days a week. You must check into what is it?
Just go to breakpointtrading.net, and the button at the top right is the YouTube channel. I will do that every um, every day around midday. I didn't do it Friday because I was playing golf.
Nah, good for you.
So
That's a good thing.
I won't promise I do it every single day. but I try to keep it within 10 or 15 minutes, so it's really quick. I'll just go over what the market has done, and then I'll do a scan. It's actually called the daily scan. So I'll do a scan for different stocks to see what different stocks are doing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you'll entertain me just for one more minute,
Of course.
I want to show you something that I showed to my uh, subscribers on my Zoom call yesterday, which we went for 3.5 hours
That's
yesterday.
amazing. Wow.
It was a pretty intensive call. Um, so if we look at optionable stocks, these all have weekly options. And I'm going to go back 50, I think it was 58 days. I'm going to go back 58 days. Yeah, look at this. So this is what I do on the midday update. I do this particular scan. I scan for stocks with weekly options. I scan the IBD list, and I scan the Magnificent Seven large cap tech stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Those three, and just to see what comes up each day. Now, normally each day there's 3 or 5 or maybe 8, something like that. But if you remember, we had the big sell off in February that bottomed on April the 7th. This particular scan in all of these cases, 58 days ago was April the 24th, I think.
Mm.
But here's the scan that would have come up if I was doing that midday update on YouTube 58 days ago.
Got it.
This is the scan I would have got. Every single one of the indexes was signaling time to go higher. There's Apple on there. There's AMD. There's Amazon. There's Arista Networks, ASML. There's Salesforce. All of these stocks have just gone much higher ever since April 24th. And this is the day that they hit the scan. There's Google is on there.
Yeah,
All the names that you would recognize are all on this list. There's Microsoft. There's Micron. So there's Oracle. So everything, just about everything hit the list on this day. So, and I told my subscribers, I said, I would love to see this happen again.
Mm.
I said, it will happen again. Whenever we get a big sell-off, and the market will at some point sell off, maybe it's August and September.
Yeah.
When we start getting near the bottom, I have a chart that I've shown on here before, my bottom finder chart.
Mm-hmm.
I will be able to identify when we're at the bottom. And I'm going to run the scan. I do it right now. I run it every day at noon.
Nice.
And my subscribers are like, oh my God, I need to watch your YouTube channel just to see what comes up on your scan. I'm like,
yeah, of course.
because this is the day that I'm looking for. This one right here.
Yeah.
You can just take your pick of any of these stocks, and I guarantee you they've gone higher since then.
Yeah, I like it. Dan, you're amazing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope you're having a blast. You deserve all the success. Breakpointtrading.net. Click the YouTube button, join, subscribe. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Have a good weekend.
You too.